XRP could be seeing a 19.34% surge to the upside in the coming days and weeks. In today's video, guys, we are jumping down into the technical analysis on XRP, sharing my thoughts and opinions on what I think is going on here with the price action and where I think it is heading next. Let's roll the intro and get right down into it. Hi guys, welcome back to another update. Today we are taking a look at XRP. We are paired up with USDT. We're on the 4-hour Binance chart for this analysis. And as you can kind of see here, we have this area of expectation, slightly higher, around 62 cents or so. And I'm going to go through the detail of this in a second. It's about 19.34% from the low that we saw on Friday. Okay, so it's going to be an interesting kind of chart to keep an eye on. Now, as we can see here, we found that we were getting some form of support being found on this lower trend line. We had one touch point down here on the 1st of February, another one over on the 6th of February right there, again on the 7th of February. And then we retested this on Friday. Okay, so we have 4 touch points on this trend line here. And it's possible that we might revisit this low just one more time before we lift off. Equally though, looking at some of the other data in the side of the charts and indicators, could be that actually we find ourselves just moving on up and we do not come down this low. So there's going to be a few opportunities here for XRP. Now we can go long on XRP, let's say entry level, with stop loss lower than that previous swing low. And of course, we can target out that slightly higher range. We can refine that in a moment. This will be a great risk reward ratio of around 5.72. So for every $1 that you would risk, you'd get approximately $5.72 back. Okay, so it's always important that we talk about good risk management and good practices when it comes to kind of trading. And of course, if I am to be leverage trading, I'm going to be leverage trading on one of my go-to platforms, which is @, right? @, is my go-to platform for leverage-based trading. It's a really easy to use platform, and it's quite, new. It's got a lot of great benefits and it is up and coming. So why not check it out if you haven't done so already? The link for it is down in the description below. If you do use that link and you are new, you are eligible for up to $30,000 of rewards and bonuses, depending on how much you deposit and trade on the platform. There are, of course, terms and conditions associated with the affiliate link in the description below, where, not all countries and jurisdictions are eligible, but all the T's and C's can be found on the website. You can go ahead and check that out if you want to. And as I said, the link is in the description below. Now, when it comes to kind of risk management here, you also want to make sure you have a stop loss. Always make sure you understand, how to trade and understand patterns and things like that. Obviously, I'm just sharing my thoughts and opinions on the data in the charts as I would personally see it. And I see a potential long position for XRP here, and it could be very, very lucrative. So let's go ahead and take a look at this move, right? So we can see here, we have this trend line. And one of the interesting things that I'm looking at specifically is going to be, if I can actually find the correct tool, I'm looking for this one here. Okay, if we can actually go ahead and draw in this little line, we can find ourselves in this little channel here, right? This channel, some people might refer to it as being bearish, right? It's essentially lower highs and lower lows. However, with the overlapping candlesticks that we see here, I'm expecting a breakout to the upside on this one. Okay, I look at this more as a continuation pattern, and it will continue what led into it, right? So we have this move to the upside, we have this continuation pattern, and then we're going to have this break to the upside. Okay, and so you can start to see the scale of this one and why we say 19.34% approximately. It is pretty sizable, and couple that with some leverage in a long position here, then we could of course see some really, really tight, so some fantastic gains on that one, right? So we have this overlapping lower lows, lower highs, looking for a breakout. Now, there is, of course, a problem here, and that is that we are below the white line going through here. This is the 204-hour EMA. And whilst we're below this level, that is our trend filter. So it's really hard for us to kind of go into long positions whilst we are below this level. But I do think that we have good support levels to be found here, and we'll be looking for a lift upwards. So we can either wait for a closed candle above our 200 EMA to confirm it before jumping into any long. That's also a pretty sensible idea. or we can enter in and try to snipe with a really small stop loss on an entry level. Okay. And so those are those approaches. Now, if I zoom out of this just a little bit, this area just here, this is the area that I think we're likely to visit. Now, it's between 60 cent and 65.84 cent. Okay, so you can see that 19.34% is pretty much right back, slap bang in the middle of this range. Okay, this is another interesting range of consolidation that we saw previously. All of this consolidation here before we lost it and then it became resistance. We are looking at this area becoming resistance potentially once again. So we're going to keep a close eye and see whether or not that plays out. Okay, so from like our kind of candlesticks and our support and resistance levels, this is the area that we are focusing in on for XRP. Now, for anyone who understands Elliott wave theory, this also happens to be a three-wave pattern up into this range as well. Okay, so a really interesting kind of structure to kind of keep an eye on for XRP here, because we have a few different reasons and rationales as to why the price action is likely to push to the upside. And again, this is just a probability game rather than anything more than that. Now, the other thing that I see here kind of forming out quite interestingly could be the potential for an inverted head and shoulder pattern. Let me show you what that looks like as well. Let me see if I can just find the head and shoulder pattern here. So over here we can see that we'd have the left shoulder, we'd have the head, we have the right shoulder forming here, and then we'll look for that neckline break. Okay, that will also coincide with our parallel channel here also getting that breakout. So you can see, okay, we have support being found on our trend line. Okay, we have support also found down here in a buying range, which was indicated by some previous resistances. I'll draw those on. Let me find the box. So I'm going to go ahead and draw that right in here. Okay, so you can see that this is the area where we touched on most recently, was an area of support broken, turned into resistance. We broke through it, support, broke it again, back to resistance, break through, retest, break out. Okay, that's kind of what we're looking for. So the inverted head and shoulder pattern will be an interesting pattern that could play us out towards the 1.618, more towards 64.2 cent. Okay, so we'll keep a close eye on that, but that's going to be an interesting point of reference as well. The other pattern that I can see kind of potentially playing out here for XRP on the 4-hour time frame is actually going to be a cup and handle pattern. Okay, so we can see that we're potentially still inside our cup. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and draw that in. I think all of this area will be our cup, and then I think at a later date, after we complete this move and after we have a little mini correction, we'll have a little handle, and then we'll have an additional break to the upside. So again, we can see here the inverted head and shoulder pattern. Okay, let me draw that back in. Inverted head and shoulder pattern right here. We'll look for that breakout. That will then take us up towards our 19.34%, which happens to be our Elliott wave three-wave pattern right there. Okay, that's also into this area of resistance that is potentially going to complete our cup. And then we might have the handle form later, but ultimately that breakout situation will complete our inverted head and shoulders, will complete our Y wave three-wave pattern from Elliott wave, and of course we'll be able to basically look to complete out our potential cup here as well. So there's a lot of reasons as to why XRP might be visiting this area of around 60 to 65.84 cent. There's lots of different ways of analyzing the market, but ultimately I think a long position around here taking us up into that range could be incredibly lucrative for any traders willing to take that one on. Of course, I am no financial advisor. I cannot offer you financial advice. All I can do is share my thoughts and opinions on the data as I personally see it. Let me know what your thoughts are on all of this in the comments down below. And why don't you check out this video right here where JB is going through Bitcoin and why Bitcoin is gearing up for a potential bullish move on the daily time frame.